Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look see. Before we start, you have the Strength card as your key to the week. So this is about asking yourself, where is your heart? And more importantly, is your heart really in it? When it comes to everything this week, you need to be asking yourself at that really deep level, is my heart in this? Am I really invested in it? Whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's work, whether it's studies, like whatever it is, am I really invested in this? Am I really ready, willing and able to put my time, my effort and my heart and soul into everything that I am doing at this moment in time? For your actions and options, you have the Four of Cups. So look at this, right? Literally asking yourself, mulling things over. If you look at the figure in the card, right? She's looking over the cups, doesn't quite realize that there's another cup on its way, right? So this is the thing. Sometimes we can feel disillusioned with what we have in front of us, but we forget to realize that the gratitude for having those things in front of us is what's going to bring something else in. It does feel like you're waiting for a final piece of the puzzle. And this week, I'm going to say this to you, Gemini, snap yourself out of it. You've got to pull yourself out of the funk, all right? Stay focused and ask yourself, is my heart really in this? Am I really invested in this? And if not, let it go. All right, that's the easiest way to move forward in life. If something isn't working, if it's not resonating, if it no longer clicks, just let it go. And that's not about, you know, because I did this for a while where I was like, you know, I don't want to be part of the throwaway culture and all the rest of it. But sometimes you need to be able to say on the other end of it, okay, you know what, I've tried long and hard enough with this and it's just not working. And if that is the case, it's better to let it go. For your communications and conversations, you have the Seven of Cups. Be clear, just be careful, be clear and be careful with your communications this week. The reason being, especially if it's something that your personal heart is involved in, right? Because your Seven of Cups can sometimes, it's not always about spreading yourself too thin. It actually feels like this week you may very well not be getting the full story on something. This could be somebody selling you a dream and actually it turns out to be a nightmare at a later date. Remember, Mercury is retrograde. Your planet, your ruling planet is retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So it's not just in the sign of watery sort of emotions, it's also retrograde, which means there's not enough clarity at this moment in time. So when you are communicating with people, check and double check. Even if you think to yourself like, oh, you know, I don't really want to ask again, you know, in case it makes me look stupid or like I'm not paying attention. Best you ask again now, lest you find out you got some lesson that you need to pay for later when you could have just said, you know what, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. All right, this is why I say to you, just this week, be really, really clear about what you're communicating to people and make sure that you have clearly understood what it is that's coming at you. Because and this is a lot of water, guys. You know, for an air sign, this is a lot of water. For your money and materials, though, you've got the Ten of Pentacles. Certainly in the short term, money and finances look good, right? This is a great week for money. It's a good week for finances. The reason I say to you in the here and now is because there's a lot of water here. So make sure whatever it is that you're sowing this week, i.e., you know, seeds, deeds, whatever, just make sure that you are 100% clear on what you're offering and what you are able to provide as opposed to what somebody expects from you. All right. Now, when it comes to money, money looks good. Money looks stable. The home looks good. The home looks stable. Remember, it's the Ten of Pentacles. This is the home of your literal physical dwelling. And then for your personal health, would be a great week to either start doing some kind of weight lifting, some sort of strength resistance exercise training, something of that nature would really benefit you this week. The energy is there, so if you're noticing you're feeling sluggish or anything like that, obviously do it safely and carefully. But yeah, I think that's as much as I've got to say to you on that this week. For your love and relations, you have the Page of Swords, right? So it does look like, for those of you that are partnered, this is a week where you and your partner really need to have a heart-to-heart. You're going to have a sit down and have a conversation, because it looks like you guys are butting heads over work. And I don't feel like this is that you're stepping on each other's toes when it comes to work. I feel like one of you is spending too much time working, maybe spending too much time obsessing over work or something that's happening with the job. And I feel like one of you, and I can't really tell which, because it's the Page of Swords, which means there's a lot of, you know, it's like maybe you're pissed off with them because they spend too much time at work or talking about work, or maybe they're pissed off with you because you spend too much time talking about and stressing about work. So this is a week for you to really check in with your partner. And remember, your Seven of Cups in your communications and conversations, this could be, so going back to what I said earlier, I don't feel like it's just about doing too much. This week I actually feel like it's almost like you're splitting your focus, but you're also not getting the full story. So if your partner this week, it's like, you know, that age-old thing when your mum used to say, don't worry, it's fine, we'll talk about it later. And then you're like, oh, I know I'm for it. Lord save me, I'm about to get my ass beat. You know, like, all jokes aside, it really does feel like one of those weeks. So just be sure to really open up a dialogue with your partner this week. For those of you that are single, again, it just looks like you're more focused on your money, on your bag. It may be as well that some of you have either a friend or possibly a friend or a family member that is suggesting some new avenue of work for you, which could actually end up being quite lucrative for you for this. So if there is an interview that comes up almost kind of spontaneously over the next week, just entertain it, go along. What's the worst that you can say? No. What's the worst they can say is no. It's not the first or the last time you're ever going to hear that in your life. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.